Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has pled not guilty to all 4 charges against him at a US court. He made his first appearance at a Manhattan court along with his wife, Cilia Flores. They were captured by the US military during a military operation in Caracas. The Venezuelan leader pled not guilty to all charges, including drug terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, and weapons charges. He told a judge, "I am innocent. I am not guilty. I am a decent man. I am still the president of my country." His wife also pled not guilty to drug conspiracy charges, telling a judge, "Not guilty, completely innocent." Their lawyers say the pair will not seek bail at this time, but will seek an application at a later date. They have been transferred back to a metropolitan detention centre in Brooklyn, and the next court hearing has been scheduled for the 17th of March. Eric Shawn has the latest for you now from New York.
Not guilty. That is the plea from Nicolas Maduro, who in court said he still is the president of Venezuela, even though he is a criminal defendant right now facing justice in the United States court system. Maduro and his wife have left Cilia. They were in court facing this blockbuster case against them. They're accused of turning their nation into a massive drug cartel that sent hundreds of tons of cocaine into our country and around the globe. In court, Maduro appeared before Judge Alvin Hellerstein, and he seemed defiant and composed. He said he was captured from his home, saying, quote, "I am innocent. I am not guilty. I am a decent man. I am still president of my country." The indictment against them lays out a case against Maduro, charging him with working with the Sinaloa and Zeta drug cartels and heading his own cartel, the Cartel of the Suns, that allegedly used the Venezuelan government, officials, the military and diplomatic corps as a massive drug operation. In court, Maduro attorney Barry Pollock said that Maduro's wife had suffered a fractured or a braised rib during the abduction of her by U.S. Army Delta forces, saying that she was injured during that operation. She also appeared to have a scratch on her face. She seemed kind of frail and, in a sense, defeated. Her husband, though, quite the opposite of that, seeming very defiant as he stood in court, seeming also very engaged in the proceedings as he was writing down what the lawyers were talking about and what Judge Hellerstein said, that he seemed very much involved in part of the process. Barry Pollock, the lawyer, also indicating that they will be able to have visits from the Venezuelan consular visits. Both sides, the prosecution and the defense, waived the speedy trial ruling, saying that the next hearing here will be on March 17th. This proceeding is likely to take quite a long time, perhaps even years, because of the massive elements in this case between any type of wiretaps, testimony, and information that the U.S. government has. For example, there is one witness who has already pled guilty 6 months ago, the former head of the Venezuelan intelligence, who could apparently spill all and give details and insights about the Maduro's operation, the Cartel of the Suns that it was called, as well as detail the bribes and payments that the Maduro cartel is charged with giving to both the Mexican and Colombian cartels to move tons of drugs into the United States. For example, in one case, the indictment says that they loaded a DC-9 airplane with 5.5 tons of cocaine and flew that plane from Venezuela to Mexico. In that case, that airplane was stopped. Those drugs were confiscated, but it seems untold how many drugs and how much cocaine had moved through the cartel that he is accused of running. Also, the indictment indicates that he also used not just the military, but also the diplomatic corps, actually giving diplomatic passports to members of the Mexican and Colombian cartels to move the drugs. That gave them diplomatic immunity, so violating all international norms in dealing with this massive multi-billion-dollar drug operation that he is charged with running while he was also president of the country, and as President Trump has said, an illegal president, refusing to step down after the last election. So he is now in the U.S. court system going back, as we can see, to the MDC, which is the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where he and his wife are being held. The next court date, as I said, coming up in March. This will be a long, lengthy, drawn-out process, a massive case in which the defense lawyers will certainly not only try and challenge any evidence that they get, that the prosecutors present in this case, but also try and challenge the fact that the U.S. government, in that astounding and surprising and actually spectacular move, going into Venezuela and taking out and grabbing from that nation this defendant, a fugitive from U.S. justice, charged in this massive drug operation unlike any that we have seen before.